Hello, Gorehound here, and pretty much I just got back from watching the Ace Attorney movie from another screening at Gamercamp, co-hosted by Toronto After Dark. So, pretty much what I'd say about it is I think it was very, very entertaining, and it was worth the watch. But I'm gonna do something a little bit differently this time. I've got my sister here, Randamia 101, and she knows about Ace Attorney more than I do. Essentially, she played all the games, Apollo Justice, Miles Edgeworth, the works. So I'm gonna pretty much let her talk about what the differences in the movie are than the games. But for me, my personal opinion, go out and see it. It's funny as hell. Just it's something you've never seen before. It's probably the perfect video game movie adaptation I've ever seen by far. Takashi Miike has done a masterful job of recapturing every look of the character and including the feel and the courtroom thing. I know the Ace Attorney has like very exaggerated emotions and stuff, and he incorporated that really, really well in the movie with brilliant CGI. It's something masterful. Only Takashi Miike could pull this off, and he has a crazy wit to do it. Anyway, I'm gonna pass the chair off to Randamia and discuss the Ace Attorney games in the movie. Okay, so so what do you think is the major difference in the game in the movies?
Well, the game has kind of like a certain feel to it, but I guess since maybe this director had like he said he was more like into the murder movies or something.
Yeah, he did like Audition and Itchy the Killer, 13 Assassins. He's a genre. He does multiple genres. I think this is the first movie I've seen that.
Yeah, because
It's a
like
comedy.
because of that the movie itself felt like it had kind of a darker feel than the game, but at the same time um it was funny at some parts that I didn't really expect it to be.
Yeah.
But the parts that were funny, I thought really weren't, because in the parts that I was playing the game, I would find those parts really tense because of not or knowing the right stuff or not really gathering the right evidence. But seeing Phoenix fail by himself just made it all too hilarious.
Yeah, but what do you think of the acting? Like,
I think it was really good. Some of the things were over exaggerated, but I kind of liked it like that.
yeah, I mean, like they had like an entire courtroom drama thing, and they just said like the when when what was it when Phoenix says something really really stupid, the entire courtroom just collapsed. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, that kind of had like a kind of anime-esque feel to it, where everyone's like ah.
Yeah.
But I think the character that I kind of thought changed a bit was the judge. For one thing, he actually had hair in the movie, and
From what I've seen from what you showed me from the DS games, yeah, I agree. He has the full more hair than he usually has in the game. He doesn't have that big bushy beard though.
and also he's a bit more goofy in the games than he is in the movie. In the movie, he's just kind of out there, just like
He's very deadpan.
yeah.
To me. Where he's like,
He's just like, is this true? Is this not true? But in the games, he's a lot more characteristic, and he tells a lot more of his personal experiences. Um, very that don't really fit well into the times of when they're in the court. And but also the Von Karma thing.
oh,
Yeah,
you mean the final case in the movie? Spoilers, if anything. Don't go.
well, not really too much of spoilers. The Von Karma guy was I thought was very nice, but for some reason I kind of imagined him to be a bit more menacing. I don't know why, but I didn't find him as menacing as in the movie than I did as in the game. Probably because he was a lot chubby in the movie. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Which characters do you think they improved on in the movie? Who do you think looks better in the movie than they do in the game?
Probably the Larry guy, Larry Butts.
Oh yeah, Larry Potts. Yes.
He's a lot funnier in the movie than he ever was in the game. Cause, but if there are any like other any of the more movies to come.
Yeah.
Later on, it would be funny how they would work on Barry since he kind of becomes kind of flirtatious with a bunch of girls.
No, I mean like I like the character, but he comes off as very goofy. I'm not sure if he came away then in the game.
He definitely did. Like they said in the game, like when those three were childhood friends, they had the saying that whenever something smells, it's usually the butt, which is kind of a pun on his last name. But yeah.
What do you what do you think of like Detective Gumshoe from the game you showed me? Some specific parts you showed me.
Okay, in the movie, Gumshoe was just way too cool, and and he also acted. He was also really younger than in the movies than he was in the game. In the movies, he was just way too cool. He wasn't the same. He wasn't the same guy. Well, like he kind of acted sort of similar, but it didn't really like he did act similar, and they did pull off his look with this weird hairstyle, spiky, one-sided thing. But it didn't really feel the same guy that gets his salary cut off every month by Edgeworth.
Okay. What do you really think that the aspect that they really enhanced for the movie to give this more cinematic feel for it?
Well, I really like the fact that they put the evidence in those holographic screens just to like emphasize the movement, like this thing, and like
this one.
Yeah, when
objection.
like and then they just like go like take that, and then the screen just go flying across the room.
Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. That's actually really. I think that's a design choice for Takashi Miike did for it just to better feel for it. I could be wrong on that, but if he did that, kudos to him. That was actually really brilliant on his part.
Yeah, I don't think there would be any other way that he could have done that. But also another thing to note was Maya's character.
Yeah.
She was a lot she in the game she was a lot more cheerful, but in the movie she did have sort of like a similar kind of silliness around her.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the way that she's not as cheerful as she is in the game because seriously, yeah, there's dead people everywhere and murder cases who wouldn't not be cheerful.
Oh yeah, and speaking of all the murder cases, I know what some of the cases are because you showed me them.
Mm-hmm.
They are shot dark and gritty as hell. They're like people get shot, people get bludgeoned. There's pools of blood. My God, like you don't see that in the Ace Attorney games. I mean, they would explain it through text, but you don't actually see it, and that's one thing. And also, there's like this. I know there's an aspect of spirituality going on in the Ace Attorney games.
Yeah.
But in the opening scene, it was like almost like an exorcism. It was really creepy and unsettling.
Yeah, like from what I got, it's the Misty Faye was channeling the Edgeworth's dad's spirit to find out who killed him, and like the way that they portrayed him in like the afterlife, it was very cool. It's like a bunch of people in a row,
and like in this desolate apocalyptic wasteland. It was very stylistic, very BK.
Yeah, and I wasn't really expecting that, but it was done very nicely. But the way that Misty was talking just kind of yeah, you're right, did make it sound kind of unsettling.
Especially what follows after. I mean, everything else is pretty much hilarious compared to this, but the murder scenes are very serious in tone, and they kind of detract from the comedy. And if anything, they made the comedy funnier because of just how dark it was in comparison.
Well, I guess I don't really have anything to say to that. There wasn't really much of a contrast like that in the games.
Well, the games had like this it wasn't taken seriously in the games to begin with, but here it's like you see these characters come to life. I mean, Phoenix has the hair done right. Edgeworth looks identical to what Edgeworth looks like in the game. Well, Gumshoe you said looks a bit more cooler. The judge practically looks the same.
No, he has hair in the movie.
Well, he has hair, but the other person, Maya's sister, what's her name?
Mia?
Yeah, Mia Fey. She looks identical with her necklace and everything. That was really really cool.
Yeah, her hair was a bit darker in the movie though.
But one thing I really didn't like, they didn't explain too much, is that she explained that Mia and her family were like this new spiritual, what was it? Spiritual channelers, but they didn't bother to explain her the necklace she was wearing, the Mentana, or
The Magatama?
yeah, Magatama.
Yeah, that's mostly explained in the second game. It's kind of like a charm, and there's one character that comes around in the second game, and I won't really say her name for obvious reasons, but she infused like power into the Magatama to give Phoenix special powers.
Okay, but I still feel that they kind of need to explain that, because other than just putting it out there that she's a spiritual channeler, what the hell's with the necklace? I mean, I barely know anything about Ace Attorney, and I'm just went into this because prior knowledge of what you showed me.
But it wasn't really explained that much in the first game either. It was explained more in the second game. In the first game, I guess you're just supposed to assume that that's kind of like the symbol of their family.
Okay.
But and nothing else much to it. Like everyone in the bloodline wears that.
Okay. I didn't know that actually, so I learned something. But as for the actual movie and the plot goes, what kind of cases did they cover? Because
they covered the second and the fourth cases.
Okay.
Which covered Mia's death and the DL6 case in Miles Edgeworth's trial.
Alright.
But those two were the more important cases. The first case, which was him defending Butts on that clock thinker thing.
That statue thing.
Yeah. That one was basically just to introduce the whole thing.
Alright.
And the third case, which was the Steel Samurai one.
You didn't see that one really.
You did at the beginning. You saw like Edgeworth like holding like the Steel Samurai suit, but like it was significantly different.
Yeah.
But it was different because like I guess that was supposed to introduce Edgeworth at the beginning of the movie, but like in the real games it was he wasn't facing someone other than Phoenix Wright. He was just facing Phoenix Wright for that.
Yeah.
But they didn't. It was kind of implied, but it wasn't actually really directly in the movie. But that case is really nothing more than filler, but funny filler, I guess. It like introduces the Steel Samurai and whatnot.
What do you think of the movie's running time? Because I think it was like estimated around like 2.5 hours, if anything, maybe an hour and a half. I don't know, because honestly, I think the pace of the movie kept on, and how much they built on each case as they went along. Because I think that the first half was the Mia's case, second half was like Edgeworth's issue and dilemma, him shooting that person in the bridge where on the boat, and then the other half of that is the third act essentially is resolving all of it. So
with the Von Karma thing.
Yeah, Von Karma thing. So how do you think of the running time? Just how it.
Well, I think they paced it around nicely. Like it's how to explain it? It's they don't like go really too fast, but they don't exactly go too slow either.
Okay.
But it's not. But I wouldn't call it perfect, but it's enough to keep the person interested.
All right. So just saying, as a newcomer like me going to Ace Attorney, would I understand all the references that in the movie, or just what I enjoyed I enjoyed it for what it was. But do you think if I knew nothing about Ace Attorney, you didn't show me anything about it, would I enjoy this movie regardless? I probably say yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would, but it would be more. You would enjoy it more if you have played the actual games, because there's nice, funny references in there, such as the Blue Badger and the Jammin' Ninja. I forget what his name was called. He was in the second game.
Okay.
Like near the end, where Edgeworth is holding that shiny red guitar. There weren't any subtitles for that part. I wouldn't really know.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the subtitles, funny story about that. They only got the licensing for the actual film. They didn't have any subtitles yet because this film is still in like distribution limbo. So what they did was they got a third party to pretty much do subtitles for it, and the subtitles for it were taken straight from the game. I think you told me this.
No, they weren't taken straight from the game. There's just one. I was just telling you there was one part that they did for jokes, like
Okay.
the part where Von Karma was screaming. They took the exact text from the game of the sound effect of him screaming and put that as the subtitles, which I found very funny.
Okay, but like he didn't scream actually. He was just there. He
Yeah.
wasn't over exaggerating. He was just very.
He did over exaggerate in the game. I mean, he was like he was like banging his head against the wall while like having that mental breakdown. He was a lot more calm and collected in the movie than he was in the game.
Well, yeah. I mean, they made it more a little bit more cinematic, but
Mm.
what can you do? But anyway, the subtitles. So they had the third party do the subtitles for it, and the subtitles were sometimes like very enthusiastic as the presenter of the movie, who co-hosted After Dark. He said it was very enthusiastic. So you see like this Phoenix Wright at one point he starts prolonging the case through like just trying to stall time, yeah, and just lengthen his words like but what, and then you just see like at least like 10 B's, 5 U's.
Yeah,
That was actually pretty funny, and that happens about a little bit more times when characters go like "Wah!"
Yeah, that was over exaggeration on the subbers part, but I think that over exaggeration was kind of necessary.
Yeah, but also about the suburbs, I think this kind of distracted me from the kind of experience, but this just might be for me. I'm not sure about for you, but for me, some of the subtitle work was very since it wasn't professionally done, the timing wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
So at some points, the really long length of dialogue
would only last for like a few seconds.
Will it just flash on the screen for less than a few seconds, and you miss out everything. And the guy speaking Japanese, you don't know what this guy hell he's saying unless you understand Japanese.
Well, it wasn't really that much of a problem for me since I kind of played the games and I kind of knew what was coming. But I guess it would be it would pose a problem for other people unless they are a fast reader. But there were a lot of problems with the subtitles. I mean, there was one part where the subtitles were just a single F.
Yeah, that was pretty weird, and it was pretty fun. But the movie was fun nonetheless. I got what was going on, but I had to put a little bit more effort into thinking in my head how this scenario and what would they actually say. But since I don't play the games, I don't understand any of the dialogue going on in the games. I mean, I find that I got lost a bit, but I still kept on track. I still understood like at least like a good 95% of the movie.
There were like a few times where I got lost a bit, but like I managed to find my way back because it has been a bit of a while since I actually played the first games. But like essentially, I knew like everything that was going on, but like there were some things, the small plot differences from the game and the movie kind of threw me off track for a bit, and I had to kind of find my place again.
Okay.
Such as the showdown with like Von Karma and the gun Edward child thing again that explaining, but the fact that they weren't in an elevator and there wasn't an earthquake kind of threw me off.
Okay. No, we talked about this before after we saw the movie, but you told me essentially what happens to Edgeworth in
with the elevator.
With the elevator thing, and without going into too much detail, I just pretty much said that the entire scene takes place in a totally different location, but I feel that it's that location difference just makes it all the more cinematic and all the more plausible because what happens in that elevator, who actually fans of Ace Attorney should know, what goes on in that elevator could not be done in or make it as plausible as they did in the movie. In the movie, they made it somewhat more realistic.
I guess that's true, but it still kind of left me disappointed because of the fact that like just because that didn't happen, it gave away two traits of Edgeworth, his fear of earthquakes and elevators, which for some reason I kind of found funny.
Also, did they do that in the game? They have little segments sprinkled out throughout the movie where you see Butts, Edgeworth, and Phoenix Wright as children in elementary school. Did they ever show that in the game?
Well, the thing is that it wasn't in the games. It wasn't revealed that he knew Edgeworth. He knew Edgeworth as like a childhood friend.
Okay.
It was revealed like at literally on the beginning of the last case, and I wasn't really expecting it to be revealed that early into the movie, so I was a bit surprised to see that.
I think it was pretty funny though. Everyone got a good laugh out of that because
Yeah.
you didn't expect that.
Yeah, they didn't expect us to see their friends in their childhood forms with the exact same hairstyles.
Yeah, like they didn't change at all how they were. They just grew taller, if anything. Really. What else do you think is another topic to discuss? Because what did he leave out? What did he leave out in the first game?
Well, there was a character that didn't from the game that didn't come into the movie. Her name was April May. She was like supposedly paired up with Red White, or if I think that's what his name was.
Yeah,
I forget.
Red White.
But she wasn't there in the movie. But I guess I can see why, just to like get the story going on faster, and like, but because like in the game she wasn't really anything more than Red White's secretary. So I guess I guess it was pretty okay for Red White just to be by himself. But Red White looked way different in the movie than he did in the game, and he also acted differently in the movie than he did in the game. Like in the game, he like literally had the guts to punch Phoenix.
Okay.
And for one thing, Phoenix wasn't first in the games. First, Maya was blamed for Mia's death.
Okay.
And then after Phoenix tries to like go on and investigate about it, he meets Red White and like interrogates him.
Sure.
And like and then like he gets kind of mad at him. He punches him. Red White punches Phoenix.
Okay.
And wait, what happens after that? And then like he says since he has the authority to do so, he says to Gumshoe, was like, hey, this guy's the killer, arrest him. Then they place Phoenix under arrest, and in the next part of the trial he had to be his own defense attorney. But that didn't really happen in the movie.
Yeah, that would be interesting to happen. But again, there's so many stories and cases this potential series could open up to. Because there's how many games are there of Phoenix, right?
Of the Phoenix Wright saga?
No, just Phoenix Wright games. I mean, I know there's like Ace Attorney is spanning with
I know, but there's like Phoenix Wright has his own saga, which like spans of 3 games,
okay,
and
3 games.
But like there's some other stuff like the Miles Edgeworth games. I think there's only 2 as of now, and there is one Apollo Justice game. I think they're working on a second one. I think.
Okay. I think it's this could become a potential series. If Takashi Miike decides to continue it, I feel that it would benefit from it really, because I don't think anybody would have done this movie with as much detail and with a passion for the game actually, because it is ridiculously popular here in North America and in Japan. So it had to be dealt with the utmost respect, and Takashi Miike delivered.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there will be more movies of it. But the thing is, the last game, Trials and Tribulations,
Okay.
is longer in comparison than the other 2 games.
Okay.
Usually they would have like a couple main cases
Okay.
and some filler cases just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last game there were like 3 main cases and 2 filler cases, whereas usually there was 2 main cases and 2 filler cases.
Sure.
So like it was like much longer. So I think if they would ever have to, if they ever were to get up to the last game movie thingy, they would have to they would either have to like get rid of all the filler cases, which is kind of what they did in this movie, but they kind of they referenced them briefly. But I think they would have to erase all of those fillers.
Okay.
Cases if they were ever to do that,
Uh-huh.
or they could just put it up in like put the last movie into several parts, I guess.
Like, how many parts would you figure it would have to be split up into if they were to make them full length like this movie?
Maybe I'm not sure really.
Just give an estimate, like a number.
Maybe just two.
Two?
At least.
Two's not that bad. Two's not that bad. Harry Potter, the final chapter, got 2 parts. Gans has 2 movies, 2 hours in length each, to tell its entire story. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. It can work. It can work.
Maybe, but the last those cases are really.
Are the filler cases that important that they are imposed like something holding up the plot entirely?
No, but like they are important they are not important, but they are like worthy to note, I guess, because like in the last case of the second game, there was one character who there was a okay, what was I saying again?
Character.
Okay, yeah. In the last case of the second game, there was one important character, but like she came back in the third game as in one of the filler cases.
Okay, that's reassuring for fans, but I'm not sure that's really important for.
I guess it isn't, but like it was nice to see her again.
Well, yeah.
And it was a bit of an improvement since like she had like some problems in the second game, but like she improved and like grew as a person, and you saw these improvements in the filler case.
Okay, so it's a character-driven thing.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a bonus thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Really on the side. But what do you really think of the movie overall? Because this is kind of getting really, really long.
Yeah, I'd say it's awesome.
Well, yeah.
Like I had high expectations for it from the start, and the more good things I heard from the movie, the higher my expectations grew. And like some people were saying to me that those expectations are probably going to be crushed. You know, video game movie adaptations aren't always that great.
Yeah,
but this
usually
one,
the American ones anyway.
But I really had high expectations for it, and I knew that for some reason there wasn't a doubt in me that this would fail, and my expectations keep growing and growing, and when I finally got to see it, it exceeded all of them.
Well, pretty much my expectations, but if you thought it was good, then if you were that trusting for a movie that many people thought it was doomed to fail, right when they introduced the idea of floating CGI screens at each other's faces. Many people actually thought that wouldn't work, and in this case, it actually did. I actually thought it was really, really good. I thought the comedy worked. As a newcomer, I felt that I actually understood the cases, what they presented, and I could follow what was going on, regardless of the third-party subtitles, the unofficial subs. And I actually enjoyed the movie. It had me laughing all the way through. The theater loved it. And there's a lot of people shouting out objection, like much more my dead sushi screening where they shouted sushi and danger. They pretty much redid all that with objection or in this case, igiari, or yeah, I'm butchering that anyway. So if you can catch a screening of this film, by all means go for it. It's in distribution limbo at this current as I'm recording this. So we don't know if it's going to come to North America on DVD anytime soon, but hopefully, with all intents and purposes, I would buy this on DVD. I will actually start playing the Ace Attorney games after this movie because there's so much details from what you've said that I'm probably missing from it. So it's better to immerse myself in the movie.
In the game?
In the movie and in the game.
Mm.
Okay. Alright, so thumbs up. Perfect video game movie adaptation.
Yeah.
It has some flaws with the subtitles, but that's nothing to hold against the movie. That's just because it has no distribution. And with that in mind, I think it was acceptable and pretty funny, to say the least. I could easily get this movie at least, in my personal opinion, a 9 out of 10 because it's one of the better adaptations. The character designs look almost identical as they do in the games, which is something you rarely even see nowadays. The mood and tone of the film was really, really It was paced well, and I think it would hold up if they made more movies about it. So, final thoughts?
Just watch the movie. Regardless of whether you've actually played the game or not, yeah, I'm pretty sure you would enjoy it.
Yeah. So that's it for this. I sadly didn't get to see a fantastical fear of everything, but I got to solve this instead. So every cloud is a silver lining. I'm the Gorehound, and this is Randamia 101. I'll link her channel in the description below.
I don't have that much great videos though.
Well, she doesn't have any videos up in the moment, but you never know, she might post some stuff.
Yeah.
So check it out anyway. So see you next time.